To do a letterhead with graphics and then a little more sophisticated text than you've done before, we're going to do a table with some tabular information. You've done bullets. We're going to do a little more graphics using building block graphics. But we're going to get started with the letterhead first. And remember how I showed you could do a text box with text in it and add graphic effects? I can do the same thing with shapes. And you can find nice resumes with letterheads already built in. But if you're in an interview and they look at your resume and they say, hey, nice resume, haven't seen that before, you could say to them, hey, I built that myself because I know how to do this extra graphical stuff. And again, that might impress the person interviewing that, hey, they have good office skills. So let's get started on that. We're just going to get that letterhead started. So I'll start my new Word document. First thing I'm going to do is make a blank document and then do Control-S. Make sure that it gets saved to the right location as I get started on it. It's going to be called WD3 Business Letter. I'm going to put in my name in there, John Smart, my fictitious student, and save. Now as I work through it, any Control-S will make sure it's saved to the right place. Now we're going to want to put in that letterhead. It's going to be a little rectangle that says Sunset State College. I could do a text box like I did before, but we can also do an insert of a rectangle. We're going to draw a rectangle because then it will be colored. It's maybe a tiny little shortcut to send instead of drawing a clear text box and filling it. We're going to do a rectangle and then give it an approximate size of 1/2 inch by 5 inches. So I'm using the ruler to kind of estimate about 5 inches long, 1/2 inch tall. Once I draw it and let go, I get popped into the shape format ribbon, the default style of blue on a dark background, and right away I'm going to type in the Sunset State College text that's going to be in here. And I'm going to be formatting that font, but let's format the shape first. First thing we want to do is make sure that we have exactly 1/2 inch tall by 5 inches wide. Now I could grab this and watch my sizes over there and get it just right. I have to drag it and let go and see how tall it was. Or I can come over here and actually type in the exact height I want over here in the shape format. I can type in 0.5 and it automatically gives it exactly 0.5 inches tall and exactly 5 inches wide. I type in 5 and exactly 5 inches wide. I can make sure this is centered by going to my Home tab or typing Control-E. Oh, I accidentally typed extra character there. I can make sure it's centered by clicking on the shape itself, and underneath Home tab, let's make sure that that is centered. And it looks like it already is centered. The text is centered as well as I'm hoping that, yeah, the box is centered on the page as well. Now before messing with the font, we would like this rectangle to have a lovely graphical view. And let's go back to shape format and see all the things available to us. Underneath the shape style, I'm going to choose a style a little more interesting than flat, plain blue. We're going to go orange and down to the second from the bottom, moderate effect. So it has the orange of a sunset with a slight gradient in the style. So we have styles available. And that gives us a fill, so we can leave our fill alone. But let's add to that style. Let's change the outline to have a yellow gold or a goldish outline, third from the right in the color table. In case I decide to change my theme, this will be a theme color. So third from the right in my boundary, my shape outline. But because the shape outline by default is only 1 point, let's also go back to shape outline and increase the weight of our shape outline to let's go 4.5 point shape outline. So I can tell there's actually an outline there. So I have a rectangle inserted, centered the rectangle, and gave it a style, and now playing with the extra graphical features of that. The style, the outline, and now we also want to put a glow around it. And I'm going to let you choose other effects as well. We at least should have the glow. In the book they choose a moderate glow. And I would like you to feel free to be creative. You can go and add other effects yourself if you want to make it a preset bevel on it. I think that's kind of cool. Some built-in presets. It looks to me, let's see, the preset I guess doesn't throw away the glow, but it makes the glow harder to see on some of them. So these presets don't throw away our settings. The style I think does throw away our additional settings. So choose what you'd like for your other shape effects. Reflection might be a little too much for a letterhead. Soft edges, you could play with that. I don't see the soft edges doing much for me if I hover over that. The bevel, I have that already. 3D rotation, I think we'll stay away from the 3D rotation, unless you give it a mild rotation. The drop shadow, that's popular with a lot of graphics. If you talk to the graphics people, they say drop shadow is way overused. But have fun with it. Give it some effects, but keep it generally at the top of your page. And now that we have our shape, let's see, you could, I guess we haven't done artistic effects. Are there artistic effects available? Maybe not. I guess maybe not for shapes. For images, there are artistic effects like you can give. Let's see if we can give our text some style. If I choose this, I think that doesn't increase the size of our text, but can give our text a slightly different style. We'll see what they have in the book. We're going to want to definitely increase the size of that font before we modify the style. Let's see now, if that object is selected, if I do Control-Shift greater than, do you think it will increase the size of the font inside of it? Let's find out. Yes, it does. I like that. So even though I don't have that font selected, because I have the shape selected, the increased font size affects all the font attached to that shape. Now what we're going to be doing now with this is we'll be adding graphics around this and we'll be adding more text to this document. But one problem we have with this shape is its position. If we look at this, we see that it's actually the text wrapping around it is actually, this is going to be independent, and if I start typing text, it's actually going to go behind this shape. We don't want that. We actually want the position of this shape to be centered and above, and have any text that I type to be either above or below it, wrapped above or below it. So I could mess with the wrapping here to be top and bottom, or I can go to the position choice up here and choose top, center, square text wrapping. You won't know the effect of the wrapping until we start typing text, and we'll see that, yeah, we don't want text to be hidden by this shape. We want the text to wrap around the shape. So we choose, even before we start typing text, let's make sure that we are top and bottom, or top, center, square text wrapping around that shape. That will force any text to be off, not behind this shape. The default was, give me a shape that can be sitting on top of text. We don't like that. We'll stop here with the graphics. When we come back, we'll be adding more graphics around this. A little something to go with Sunset State. They like an eagle. I think we'll also be modifying the style a little bit of the text. We're going to have an eagle picture on both left and right, and then we'll have some little letterhead text underneath that as well. But save what you have. We'll stop here, give you time to save this to your flash drive, to your jump drive. If you are ever needing a backup, you're on some computer, you don't have any way to get to a jump drive or a backup drive, remember you can always go to Schoology and submit it, and then later when you finish it, submit it the final revision. So you can choose this to be a revision. Remember, you can always go to this and actually download what you have there and work on it. So in your Word document, you can submit it and then come back and resubmit it later. So I could go to project 3, submit what I have so far, and later on submit it again. And you can always treat that as a little temporary storage place. I don't know, as a user, do you have a place to store just personal files? Does Schoology give you that? I don't remember if it lets you. And I haven't checked whether Populi lets you have a storage in Populi, but I think it looks like you can. Yeah, it looks like you can create your own resources in Schoology to store things. I would use something like Google Drive or OneDrive, though. Have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend. I will upload this recording in case you need to review anything.